Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2020 episode 8, season 1 of Shudder's original show, Creepshow, Shapeshifters Anonymous. So it's a Creepshow holiday special, Shapeshifters Anonymous. So it's a 45-minute long special. It's a TV special. It's a Christmas film. Creepshow is a anthology series, so each episode is a little different. It's its own horror story kind of thing. Creepshow originally was a film back in the 80s, an anthology film where there was a bunch of different stories based on fictitious comics, horror comics, inspired by actual horror comics. And then you have this main Crypt Keeper kind of host, if you will. Crypt Keeper we all know and love from Tales from the Crypt, which is another late 80s, early 90s adventure. And so it's just neat seeing another horror anthology bit again coming to fruition. Many of Creepshow films, which then spurred to other comics, but then also like the reinstallment. Greg Nicotero is the executive producer for the 2019 reboot, if you will, and it's cool having him do Walking Dead horror to Creepshow horror. So having him direct this episode as well is pretty cool. Having him direct this horror episode, horror special, is pretty cool. So you have Anna Camp playing this weird cheetah in this, and you have Adam Paley playing this lycanthrope, an actual werewolf in this. And it's cool because they have this SA meeting, the Shapeshifters Anonymous meeting, where these different whatevers come together, discuss the troubles, but then also joys of shapeshifting and what they eat and stuff, right? But how does this come into the Christmas circle, right? Well, it takes place at Christmas time, but we get a full backstory about Santa Claus and how he is this demonic entity that had a partner with Satan after God got rid of him because he couldn't do the work to get rid of the main lycanthrope villain kind of a thing due to the Book of Bob that was removed from the Bible, because the Bible's been altered numerous times depending on what religious leader felt it needs to reflect the modern times, because that makes sense. So this particular Book of Bob references the origin story of Santa Claus, of Kris Kringle. And so there was the Kris Kringle versus Bob bit, and so Santa Claus, or actual knife claws that Lucifer bestowed upon Kris in order to fight the lycanthrope Bob. It's just so entertaining. It's such a wonderful another demonic Santa story thrown in the mix, because we have a few of those, not many of those, but we have another version of this, and he's like cyborg demonic Santa. It's just wonderful having these shape-shifting creatures fight against Santa in the basement of a church during this SA meeting. It's just very entertaining, and having all of the mall Santas and all the charity Santas, being Santa's elves, Santa's helpers, being the eyes on the ground in regards to who's a shapeshifter, who's not, and how Adam Paley's character actually became a shapeshifter because he was cursed by a gypsy in his apartment building. But he turns out that he ate the gypsy and the dog of the gypsy, so he can't actually, transform back. And the other thing is, gypsy technically is a slur term, technically, but like, it's part of the mythology in regards to a gypsy's curse. So I don't know how else you're supposed to properly phrase that, because they do it in the show, but technically, the PC version, the politically correct version, is you're not supposed to say that G word anymore. But I don't know how else they could have worded it, because that was a character, and part of the mythology is the curse of a gypsy. So, like, it's wonky. Sometimes PC's a little wonky. There's certain ways to correct things. Sure, I'm not quite familiar with how you're supposed to correct these things. I would like to know how you're supposed to correct these particular terms. But in the show, they use that terminology, and it was very quickly gone over like 3-4 times. That was it. Moving on, the epic battle scenes at the end were very entertaining. Just the bloodbath, man, just blood everywhere, intestines flying everywhere. The makeuping, costume design was just wonderful. The animatronics, actual puppets, not a lot of CGI in this. Authenticity, I really enjoyed that 80s, 90s grit that we got within regards to this horror kind of a thing. And Greg's good with that. He does incredible work, makeup, special effects designs within regards to Walking Dead zombies. So, of course, he would do great with, characters moving forward in regards to other mythologies. So, pretty neat. An essay meeting, Shapeshifters Anonymous meeting. What happens next? Creepshow, the holiday special, 44, 45 minutes long. Awesome, awesome horror Christmas. I'm so glad we're back in this genre. Very briefly, we're doing another fun thing next, which is an absolute amazing, amazing Christmas TV special, which we're going to talk about. But yeah, on to the next review. Mucho mahalo.